I'm Rina Benmayor. I was president from 2010 to 2011, and so I was in charge of the conference at in Atlanta in 2010. Yeah, but the story I wanted to share about OHA and the impact it had on me, I started coming to OHA in 1988, I think, to the Baltimore conference, and continued ever since. The conference that most stands in my mind was Alaska. And it wasn't the conference, it was what we did after the conference. So here we are up in Anchorage, Alaska. You know, it was kind of cold. And the day the conference ended was Sunday. And so there was a field trip scheduled for Sunday. And it was a time when OHA did a lot more tours and field trips. And so this was a Sunday field trip to go up to a small town north of Anchorage and have lunch at a local cafe with some of the locals. So there was this whole group of oral historians. We go up to this town and we sit in this lovely little cafe in a tiny little village type place. And there were about 5 locals that came in to tell their stories about how they came to Talkeetna. So there was the mother and daughter native Alaskan who had always lived there, and they came and they told their story. And then there was the old guy who told the story of the coming of the cranes, and he must have been in his 80s, and he told how every year the cranes came, and that was kind of a sustaining event for him. And then there was a nurse who was from Boston who had come to Alaska to climb Mount Denali as a vacation, whatever, and she ended up as the resident nurse in the halfway station up the mountain, and she's been there ever since. And then there was this couple that came from LA who had done public radio. And so they're sitting there and telling their story about how they started a public radio station in Talkeetna. And I'm going, really? It really reminds me of Northern Exposure, which was a very popular TV show at that time, and about all these people who had congregated in Alaska. And I said to her afterwards, I said, you know, your story really reminds me of Northern Exposure. And here are these people telling their stories over while we're eating lunch, etc. And she said, yeah. She started to laugh. She said, well, they did come up here scouting around. And I, one day, was watching the program, and I see this episode that is a story that I was telling my girlfriend in the bar one day, and here it is on TV. So it was like having this wonderful moment of oral history, storytelling, and then taken to the next level of, here is one of our iconic TV shows that we all love very much, and we were in the same place. It was really lovely. So that's my story about OHA.